Hi everyone, Ben here and welcome back to iRacing. We're here in the Touring Car Challenge once again, and this week we're at Watkins Glen, but we're running the International Cup circuit, the shortened version of Watkins Glen, which transforms the track into something approaching an oval circuit. Very few heavy braking zones, really just a series of medium to high speed corners, and to be honest with you, it's about as far removed from Summit Point last week as you can imagine. We've had a pretty poor qualifying here. We're in the middle of the pack in the second highest split, starting from P11, but it really is going to be a game of survival, this one, with so much close bunched racing going on. The draft along the big back straights is absolutely crucial. We're down then onto the grid, waiting for the start lights, and I'm feeling pretty nervous heading into this one. One car behind us can't wait to get going. He's jumped the start, so he's going to get a penalty straight away. We wait for the green lights, and we are finally underway in this race. We've had a pretty poor start though. There's cars streaming past us, 3 or 4 wide up ahead into T1. Into one of the heaviest braking zones on the circuit. We hope to the apex to just make sure we get through safely. There are cars on our outside running wide, but we should be now just about alright heading up the bank for the first time. We do have a car on our outside, so we're going to have to stick to the wide line here through the second part of the S's up the hill, and in the end we have to just get out of it to not collect ourselves into the barrier. So we've lost positions off the start then for sure. I'm not quite sure where we're running at the moment, but it could be 13th or 14th. Having to get on the brakes very early here as the cars concertina together into the chicane. Back on the accelerator as quickly as we can. We've got Brandes behind us in close attention, and Sverchek up ahead of us in the Hyundais. He's now looking very racy on the outside. He's ran it wide. He's going to be right onto the runoff area there. He will be rejoining, so we've just got to keep an eye out to our left hand side. He does rejoin up ahead of us, but we're going to try and get down his inside into the left-hander coming up here. Try and spot the apex. We are able to do it. It looks in our rear view mirror as if the Hyundai has collected a couple of traffic cones. That can't be helping him with his straight line speed as we come through the final corner of the lap and consolidate where we are at the end of this opening tour of Watkins Glen. There are cars going side by side up ahead of us, so there could be more action yet to come up the road. We need to be able to stay within the slipstream of this pack of cars up ahead, as pretty well half of them run wide as we also take to a little bit of the runoff area. That's given the car behind us a little bit of a run here. As you can see in our rear view mirror, he's going to be tucked right into our draft. We are going to close in on the pack of cars up ahead here. Very sketchy coming down this back straight all the way through this race as cars weave for position, trying to break the toll. You can see then we're going to have a car down our inside here on the helicourse, so he's got his nose down our inside, so we can't cut across to close off the inside of the corner. And in the end, I feel like it's just the safer thing to give the position away at this point of the race. I don't want to come to grief this early and essentially have to go back into the pits for repairs. We're going to try and sneak back down his inside, but he swoops back onto the racing line, having to apply the brakes mid-corner, and in the end then we lose out on that position and are going to have to try and fight for it back over the laps to come. Heading then into the final couple of corners of this lap, we'll be down into 12th position then as we come across the start-finish line, as we're just trying to get some heat into the tyres here to help us with our grip heading into the middle section of this race. Ward is the car behind us now, and he's closing in on us as we've had a poor run through that final corner. He might have a think about sticking one down the inside, but actually he thinks better of it. He gets earlier on the brakes than we do. We actually pick up quite a nice line through that corner, so we could get ourselves into the draft of the pack up ahead. It really is like oval stock car racing, this, rather than what you might traditionally think of as touring car racing. I'm not quite sure I enjoy it. It's definitely engaging and intense, but at the moment it just feels quite stressful as at this stage of the race as we're coming down the back straight once again. Look at the cars weaving around for position as we head into the chicane. There really is no room for us to stick one down the inside, and we're not really close enough either. One car has ran wide though, has gone across the grass. That looks like it's Steve Olive, as we're going to now be on his outside through the right-hander here, trying to hold position, not give him too much of a pinch on the inside, hoping he doesn't drift out wide, which he doesn't. And we've got 11th position back then. Opportunistic as he made a mistake through the chicane, but we were able to make the move stick around the outside. Pretty pleased with that pass as we come to the end of another lap then. The car up ahead, Brandes, getting it slightly wide through the left-hander. We need to try and keep it neat and tidy through this final corner ourselves if we're going to get a run. We nearly come to contact with the wall on the outside, just trying to keep our foot in and keep the momentum going here as we cross the finish line for the end of another lap. Once again, Ward behind us, shaping to the inside, but once again thinks better of it as we come through the opening corner once more. We are definitely going to be in Brandes' draft here coming up the hill, so we might have half an opportunity to get past him into the chicane. Really risky point of the track to make a move though. I know coming into that overtake it's going to take both cars to play ball to be able to get through there safely. The chances of a collision are very, very high, so you do need to be all the way alongside heading into the braking zone to stand any chance. We aren't, so I have to get on the gas slightly early, concede that he will be holding the corner for another lap as we come through into this sweeping right-hander. The temptation to just carry too much speed through this corner and drift out wide is very, very high. This time around we're able to hug nicely to the apex, all of the cars in our rear view mirror abusing the runoff areas behind us. No doubt picking up a 1x in terms of incident points, but maybe it's worthwhile doing that every now and again given the excess pace you then carry. Brandes up ahead using that runoff area towards the end of the lap. He's drifted it out wide though, so this is going to give us a chance to get down his inside. Ward has got a better exit than we do too. We're going to be 3 wide as we cross the start finish line heading into T1. This is really not where I want to be, in the middle of 2 cars here. We get on the brakes earlier than Brandes up ahead, but he's parked it on the exit of the corner. That has absolutely destroyed our momentum coming out of the corner. We've lost 2 more positions and we've got a 3rd car down our inside, and we've got the Hyundai of Sverchek attacking us back once again. We're going to essentially be running last in this race, or certainly last in terms of the leading pack of cars as we come onto the back straight. That has gone all wrong for us. Just simply we got caught up behind Brandes, who made a mistake on the exit of T1. We are able to get on the brakes slightly later than Sverchek behind us, so we hold on to 1 position at least, and we might have another run around the outside of Olaf here in a carbon copy of what we saw just a lap earlier. But no, we can't. We have to get out of it, and in fact we get barged off by Sverchek on our inside as he had a run down our inside. Unfortunately for us, that meant we had to take to the runoff area as we really did get shoved off the track. We've got the inside line for the left-hander. That does mean we've got the high ground on the Hyundai driver behind us, so we do hold on to this position at least. But what a messy lap for us there. It's all unravelled just a little bit, and we've dropped positions hand over fist as Brandes now is attacking Olaf, looking to get down the inside into T1. Will he be able to make the move stick? We're going to have to defend from Sverchek as well. He's made a dive bomb down our inside. He's never going to make the corner, and in fact it looks as if he's gone straight off into the barrier. There was a little bit of contact. I really don't know what more I could have done to avoid that, but we'll take a proper look back then. Let's draw breath and just see how all of that action unfolded, and really how we lost so many positions because of this episode at the start of the coming lap here. Brandes in the Audi just gets it wrong into T1. He ends up having to slam the brakes on the exit. We then get caught up behind him, and that allows 3 cars to just power on past us, and then we're also under attack from the Hyundai behind us all the way through the next lap. We're running side by side here up through the S's, but we are able to hold on to the position at least through the chicane. But look at the track up ahead of us. 3-4 cars wide, and then it settles into 2 tracks of 2, so we're each giving one another the draft as we power on down this back straight and into the chicane. We do though, as I say, hold the position around the outside. Unfortunately for us, and in particular for the Hyundai driver behind us, as we got towards the end of the lap, he decided he wanted to get past come what may. He's in our draft heading into T1, but then as you'll see from this replay, he really does stand no chance of making the corner here. I give him plenty of room on the outside, but he's right the way across our path. I can't just disappear. It feels to me like there was nothing I could really do to avoid that incident. Here is that the replay from his onboard footage. You see he shapes to the inside. He's not alongside us into the braking zone. He dives into it. He's never getting that car turned around, and unfortunately the little tap between us ends up with him spinning rather than just heading off into the runoff area. Finally, here is that same incident from our internal camera. You see he just comes right across our front. There is at least 1 car's width on the inside that he could have taken to have the position, but he just misjudged it. We rejoin then a couple of laps later. We're in 14th position, so this race is not going well for us. You'll remember in previous rounds of this championship we've been fighting at the front end of the grid. We've fallen right the way down the order here. We are in contact with Olaf and Brandes up ahead though, so there are some positions that I think we can make as we come through into the middle and second half of this race, but it's going to require us to get into a good rhythm here because we've been really scruffy so far, fighting in the traffic. Up ahead, Brandes has ran wide, so this is going to be a bit of a chance for us. We keep our foot in, he tries to rejoin, there is a tiny bit of contact between the two cars and actually gives us a bit of a flash of the lights there in the rear view mirror. Again, I'm not entirely sure what we should or could have done differently there. He was well off the track before rejoining there. Up ahead, Olaf has ran wide, so there might be another chance for us to get past here as well. I really do feel like the off tracks are too lenient here at Watkins Glen. It's incentivising drivers to get right off track before rejoining. Very, very difficult to race safely in these conditions. We shape to the inside, but we're not close enough to make that move stick, so we think better of it. We do manage to get on the apex though, and that is going to give us a very good run here on Olaf as we climb up the hill through the S's. The pack of cars up ahead of us, they're about 4 seconds ahead, so this is a real problem for us because we won't get the draft even if we do get past Olaf here on this coming lap. As we're shaping towards the outside here now to try and give ourselves a run, we're going to really not be able to duck back into the slipstream. That's going to give Brandes behind us some encouragement, so once more we could be 3 wide heading into the chicane here. We're around the outside. Oh, but there's been an incident up ahead. There's no yellow flag, but there's 2 cars off to the right hand side. I'm not sure why we didn't get a yellow flag alert there, but we did just think better of sticking the move because I didn't know what was going to be ahead of us there as I saw 2 cars off to the right hand side. So we got out of the overtake on Steve Olaf, but we have made up 2 positions by the looks of things there because of that accident. We'll take a look back when we get a moment's breathing space as to what exactly happened and who was involved in that crash through the chicane. But we're coming through to end yet another lap here. We've got a little bit of space to Brandes behind. We are still within the draft of Steve Olaf up ahead. I think we might be up in 11th position now. We'll see as the standings update when we cross the start finish line here. Down into T1, heavy on the brakes again, try and take a nice tight line. We're up into 11th position, so that is really positive. We've gained 2 more spots then as we come once again up into the S's. We're actually quite a nice distance behind Olaf here because I will be able to just close in using the draft. On the previous lap we were a little bit too close almost, and then I had to come out of the slipstream very early down the back straight. This time around we're going to be closing in just as we get towards the corner. Maybe we are just too far back this time though. In fact, it looks like we are. We're not going to be able to get alongside. We are going to be close to him though as on exit, so maybe there's a chance around the outside once again. No, we just can't make it alongside his car in time, so we're going to have to follow him through and look for opportunity on the next lap. Pack of cars fighting very, very tightly up ahead. There's a puff of smoke. It looks like something might have kicked off up ahead. We'll see when we get there. Yes, it looks like there's 2 cars off to the right hand side there, so we're going to make up another 2 positions as finally the close battling between cars on this very high speed layout comes to grief, and we've started to see some of the incidents that I was frightened we'd see on the opening couple of laps as drivers just get a little bit impatient and are trying to break the toe or trying to make a move decisively past. That has promoted us then up into 9th position. And as we get into the final couple of laps here, we've got a few minutes left on the race clock. It looks like then 8th position is as good as it's going to get for us. It will be a few spots up on where we qualified. We are car number 8 as well, so it will reflect where our iRating suggests we should be. So let's try and get that move done then as we're heading onto the back straight one more time. We're into the draft of Olaf. He's taken the defensive line, so we're going to have to go around the outside. I'm going to try and brake just a little bit later, but still make the corner. Give him plenty of space on the inside, but the second apex is ours. Get the car turned in, so there's no way back past for him. And we've managed to make that move stick. Brilliant overtake there. Very grateful to Steve behind us now for making sure that was a safe bit of battling, because as I said earlier, it takes two to tango, particularly through corners like that. If he had defended too aggressively, then we both would have been off, as we saw two drivers earlier in the race suffer that fate as well. We managed to hold the position then through these final couple of corners as he is trying to mount a re-overtake straight away, and we're going to cross the start-finish line then up in 8th position. Let's take a look back then at some of those incidents. First, the crash through the chicane as we're following the two cars who are ultimately going to be involved in this. Up the hill in particular, we're following Garcia in the red livery, attacking the Audi here. The Audi is trying to shape around the outside of a car up ahead. That is actually what's going to cause this incident, as then he tries to rejoin the line and the two cars just come together. It's quite difficult to see even from that helicopter cam who's ultimately at fault there. It looks like it was perhaps a 50-50 racing incident as the two cars came together. Oh, but then that's a real shame, as clearly tempers were running a bit high and the two cars come together again. This is the second incident then towards the end of the following lap, and you'll see one of the cars just gets turned around there. We'll have to see from an external shot exactly why the two cars came together on the straight. They weren't even heading into a braking zone, and yes, you'll see it's the Honda trying to retake the racing line. He does so too soon. Spectacular shunt, and then unfortunately for the LA World liveried Honda, he just gets completely caught up in it. He's a passenger, and yes, you'll see there he's just trying to retake the racing line. He tries too soon, it cuts across the front end of the car, and then an innocent victim gets taken out as well to the right hand side. This then is the overtake move that we made on Steve Olive to get ourselves up into 8th position. A really great pass, cleanly done through the chicane at very high speed. Respectful racing all round, really like to see it. And this is just one more view from the external shot there. You'll see we gave each other plenty of room through the corner. Never really a danger that we were going to come together. Respectful from Olive to realise that the move was done and not just pile into us. And you'll get another sense of that from his onboard camera here as he comes through the corner. He could very easily have chosen to just drive straight through us there on the exit, but he recognised that the move was done. Very fair driving, and very grateful once again for that. We rejoin then on the very final lap of the race. Here the white flag is out. We've been able to consolidate ourselves in 8th position, and we're just not close enough to Logsdon and Ward up ahead to get back into their draft and be able to attack for any more positions. No more mistakes were made up ahead of us either. So 8th position it is. Slightly disappointing compared to where we were able to finish our previous races in this championship. To be honest, this kind of layout, not really my cup of tea. And so I'm not too disappointed ultimately to get through the race safely, to get a decent haul of championship points, to see another little bump on our iRating. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, leave a like, get subscribed, and I will see you on the next one.